Well, everybody, it's this is week number 12, auction number 12. So, welcome to the Coast to Coast Truckcast. We had another great week, so we're going to cover that. I'm going to cover, a little bit of the talks about the, NHTSA importing world and where we're at there, and kind of some things that I'm hearing in the market. So, we'll be touching on all that stuff. It is late my time. It's 11 o'clock at night. So, we all know, we're all listening to this podcast for a reason. It's to hear the rumblings of the auction, the wholesale retail world. And, this honestly just never sleeps. I think it's Chad Cunningham, the one that has the t-shirts, the wholesaling ain't easy. Wholesaling never sleeps either. It's all day, all night. People are always working, and you can never miss anything. So, jumping into the sale that we had on April Fools, we sold everything again. We ran 57, sold 57. So that was another wonderful week. We are having a great string of success, but we had those, as you guys all remember, couple of weeks where things were really good. Our overall MMR on the vehicles we were selling was climbing week over week. The highest we got to was somewhere close to like 97.5%. But, this week we are all the way down to like 93.7%. So since that 97% drop, we've seen about a 1.5% drop over all of our MMRs. Now, some things do play into this. One of the biggest things is, since we run so many fleet trucks, our overall MMR is based a lot on the premium models that we get in our lane. Like I said, we run a lot of base model white work trucks, same stuff, same shit every week. A lot of F350, F250 gassers, SLE gassers. So that stuff is always there. And we're seeing, decently consistent money. This week we had a drop in the overall MMR percentage of our F350s. But on the flip side, the MMR went up a tiny bit. Because my good friends out east running the lanes, they ran a bunch of F350 XLTs like we did, and they said they got a nice bump out there. So that helped increase the margins, but overall, we're not seeing the buyers come up to, the MMR range so much anymore. And we know that, MMR it's a whatever number, right? Guys at wholesale, it's a number that we base a lot of our decisions off of, but ultimately those retail guys, they make the decision off of, what they're seeing on their vAuto or their AccuTrade. So things of that nature. Percentage of MMR, we saw a little drop. Margins went up a little bit, but it was nothing too crazy. And another thing to take into account is, from last week, just for our F350s in general, because that accounts for, anywhere from, 20 to 25% of our lane on any given week. Those units, the average mileage went up by a little over 12,000 miles per average on the vehicles. The MMRs dropped tremendously. We had a lot of vehicles below that 3.5 threshold. So those little things alter the type of numbers that we get on the vehicles, but we can't complain about the sale. The sale was great. We didn't see as many buyers show up, so we're thinking that the retail guys have sort of loaded up on their lots. They've gotten the inventory that they need. Now they need to start offloading, and the retail side is decent, but it's not hot like it was, about a month ago when we started seeing those jumps in the market. So, I would say for everybody, expect a little bit, of a plateau from where the numbers and, the bidding action is right now. It was fun for the past month, but, we're coming into that season where, everybody's basically got their tax money back already. So it's just a matter of staying strong, sending down the same amount of units that you always send down, and just staying true with what the market tells you, right? As many guys can show up to your auction as you want. You could sell to one guy directly, whatever, but, just listen to the guys that are buying from you, because, the numbers they put down is off of the calculations that their dealership can account for. So we're just seeing a little bit of a drop is what I'm trying to say. I'm complicating it a lot, but that's what I'm trying to say is we're seeing a little bit of a drop, not necessarily in our buyer activity, but just in the buyers' willingness to keep climbing for the vehicles, that they're bidding on. So with that said, let me pull up some more numbers. We had an average CR grade of 3.9, which is honestly one of the highest CR grades that we had overall. I know I just said that F350s were dropping, but everything else was looking really good. We ran, let me pull this up. As far as premium stuff, we ran a Denali. We've been having a lot of issues with Denali's lately as far as getting, the full money on them. So if you guys out there are listening and, you're seeing different things on Denali's, give me a call and let me, maybe go through some of the units that we're running and tell me maybe what I'm missing. Maybe it's in the description. I doubt that would be the contributing factor, but just, give me a shout out and, call me and just, I'm always loving to chit chat, especially since we start the sales week off on Mondays. I would love to just hear the rumblings and, give you a little insight of what we saw in our sale. So we ran another Trail Boss this week that did fantastic. We ran a Bronco for the second time in our lane. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, we've sold over 450 vehicles to date. No, sorry, we sold over 500 year to date. We just crossed that threshold. I think we're at exactly 515. So, round of applause for the Coast to Coast team. We've been working hard to try and get to where we're at, but we ran our second Bronco. Trying to get back on track for you guys. We ran our second Bronco. That did really well. We ran an Expedition Platinum. That did fantastic. An Explorer XLT did amazing. And yeah, it was nice to see that the SUVs were bringing good money, because we've ran some SUVs in the past. We've ran, an Expedition and a Bronco, and granted that was at the infancy of our sale, but it just didn't do as well as we were expecting. But I think we're getting into that market where those SUVs are starting to pick up a lot more traction necessarily than the trucks are. We ran more Tremors this week. Those did fantastic. So if you guys are out there and looking for Tremors, we always have, it seems to always be a black Tremor or a blue Tremor, basically leading off our sale. So, tune in. I believe we have another one next week. We also ran F250 Platinum that did solid but not great. Let me see. Let me look at this list here. We ran F350 Platinum that it was 2022, had close to 60,000 miles, and that one pulled better money than we expected. We didn't expect one with that high of miles to do that well. So we were pleasantly surprised there. An F350 Lariat, that one did fantastic. It didn't have a sport package, none of that. It was just, the Chrome edition. And then, as always, the diesels pulled great money. I don't know if you guys are out there hearing different things, but our diesels, anytime we have a diesel, we try to highlight it as much as possible, and those pull usually 100% of MMR. And this week that proved that. The week prior, everything pulled 101% or more on the diesel units. So if you guys out there are selling diesels and are maybe having a little issue, give me a call. If you're anywhere in the West, happily run them in our lane with our guarantee in lane pricing. And then our XLT Sports, you guys that bid in the lane, that we always bring those every week. You guys that aren't in it, we get fantastic money on those XLT sports. I mean, consistently, 100%. I mean, the bidding wars on those are crazy. And we do not run anything with like nice colors either. It is just white sport package XLTs. And yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, people love buying those. They're a great truck. They're a nice truck. But I mean, from our standpoint, we would think, hey, we're flooding the market. I mean, we run anywhere from 7 to 10 or 12 of these every week. And, that's a lot of XLT sports to be put in the market. But we haven't seen a drop off at all. If anything, they've gotten stronger. The Sierras haven't necessarily gotten better. And the miles haven't even necessarily gotten, lower. So if you have XLT sports out there, be proud, because those are going to pull great money at the auction. Touching on the GM product, we ran a couple LTZ Chevy 3/4 tons. Those did great. The GMCs did decent, but not fantastic. I mean, it's the same stuff we've always ran, but we just don't see the good numbers there. Again, if a diesel pops up, does great, but the gassers, they're just, honestly wish we had some different inventory to run in there. So we're going to try and figure out a different way around that. But, we ran 7 of those this week, and one of them pulled pretty solid money, better than we expected, but everything else was honestly dragged a lot of our averages down. So there's a little market report, guys, of what we saw this week in our lane. If you guys if there's any Canadians out there and you have more questions about this lane, we have some guys over in, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, that are interested in looking at this lane. My phone number is 651-357-8966. We run every Monday. It's a great sale for Canadians. Like I said, we run on a premium day. We run on a Monday. We basically start the week off. We're seeing more buyers every single week show up. And it's really a good way to just, have everybody focused in on Canadian units on a Monday sale. Where, like I said, I think there's like maybe 12 sales going on throughout the country. So, with that said, anybody out east, Toronto, we're coming out to Cincinnati, end of the month. My partner is meeting with, some managers out there. So we're gonna start that very, very soon. So if you have cars down on the ground in Detroit or about to go down to Detroit, you're gonna have a home for them coming soon. Now, let's dig into the importing side. There's not a ton of new news on the importing side. There was a little bit blip put out there from IMVTA. Let me pull it up and kind of read it off to you guys. They had a couple changes in the VISTA system, just addressing, where vehicles were conformed and where vehicles were inspected. That's up to your registered importer, but those are some little changes that, the NHTSA is going through right now. They're just crossing all their T's, dotting all their I's, and just ensuring that these importers are, doing what they say, where they say they're going to do it, and, just making sure they're following the guidelines, basically. So that's the only update from there. But next week, I believe it's next week. Yes. IMVTA, which for all of you that don't know, that stands for the International Motor Vehicle Trade Association. And this is a conglomerate of registered importers and, lawyers and people that go and speak on behalf of the greater registered importing community and chat with the NHTSA to, push some, ideas, or I shouldn't say agendas, but just, pushing for more communication between, the registered importers and, the NHTSA, because it's something that's been missing for a long time. And so this is something that's really helped the industry as far as getting some communication on a larger scale back and forth instead of having, 50 to 60 different registered importers emailing these guys and, they're answering the same questions over and over. One conglomerate is handling this, and they have a trusted board of registered importers that are leading the charge. So those are the guys out there that are working on the behalf of registered importers and you guys, the exporters and the guys buying the cars. The quicker the turn time, the better it is for our particular niche in the industry. So, but with all that said, next week there's going to be a meeting with MMVTA. I'm going to be sitting in with my pal Sebastian, who is on the board, and just listening to all the questions and the feedback. So I think next week we're going to have a really good kind of podcast update for you guys as far as what's going on that front. So sorry I don't have more for you guys, but sometimes that's just how the weeks shake out. Now, going forward, for next week, we're looking at having a bigger sale. We're definitely going to get to that 55 vehicle mark that we've been hitting for the past couple weeks, which has been good, but we're really pushing to get over that, 70 threshold. We really want to be in that 75, unit a week kind of space, because that puts us in a good, in kind of a good situation. If some weeks fall off, we're not going to look like we're, maybe tipping off too much. But sorry, I'm yawning, guys. As you can understand, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm going to be getting up in just a handful of hours because I'm going to be watching a bunch more auctions and, preparing for our sale next week. So, but next week, anyways, got a bunch more vehicles coming. We should have more premium stuff. We're going to have the same run-of-the-muck, 1-ton SLEs, F350s. If you guys are looking to get these bad boys and get them, on the cheaper side, come into our lane. They're great trucks. They're detailed. They're ready. They have their little, nicks and dings here and there, but, what car doesn't that has, over 20,000 miles on it? So, check into the lane. We're serious, guys. One bid buys a car, get it out of here. We don't take offers. If you're the last bidder in the lane, boom, car is yours. See you later. So we've been seeing a lot of good returns there. We're seeing guys come from all over the place. We had buyers in Iowa this past week. Guys, I know I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but we had people from all over New Jersey, Iowa. We had somebody in Pennsylvania, and then, our strongest buyer over in South Carolina. We even had some cats out of Florida check into our sale. So we have, people from as far as you can imagine checking in. So it's interesting. I did not think we would see that, because that's a large transportation cost out of Utah. I know from when I was wholesaling, transporting cars all the way from, even going from Detroit over to Salt Lake City, that was an $1,800 bill. And these guys looking in Pennsylvania, buying in Florida, that's a hefty transport. And you usually got to fill a load for it to make sense. So that's, some more stuff that we saw. But, you guys that are out there that are buying, we appreciate you genuinely at Coast to Coast Remarketing. We had an idea coming in for the sale of how we wanted to execute it, and we were confident that buyers would like it, but we didn't know how long it would take for them to catch on. You guys have caught on a lot quicker than we expected, and we just thank you guys for that. All you other guys out there that are getting my annoying text messages on a weekly basis, I appreciate you guys not, unsubscribing and not, telling me to stop texting you or telling me to fuck off. It's, we're just trying to get our word out there. It may not make sense for you right now because we're in Utah, but we're going to be in your market one day, and it's going to make sense then. So, anyways, I'm rambling, guys. I'm tired. I need to go to bed. But you guys that have sales tomorrow, good luck at your sales tomorrow on Wednesday, and even the guys on Thursday. Chatted with some other guys today that had sales on Tuesday. Flint was strong, and Minneapolis was pretty strong today as well. So, good things. We just didn't have as strong of a sale, which is okay. We're absolutely okay with that. But we sold 100%, and that's the name of our game. So, You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Good luck wholesaling, and I'll chat with you guys again.